exactly. I think, the Packers going to have to slow this game down, man. You know what I'm saying? And it might be the recipe to beat the Lions right now. You know what I'm saying? To kind of try to slow them down, as much as possible. Because, I Jordan Love, if he plays, which I think, man, he probably he go out there with one arm if he have to this week. So I expect him to play. You know what I'm saying? And I think that both teams are going to want to run the ball. Like you said, and then I think it's going to be a factor. The weather's going to be a factor. I love this matchup, man. This is what it's all about. This is NFL football at its best, man. You know what I'm saying? Our
Two
team,
6-win teams
yeah, man.
playing outdoors, windy day, rain. It's gonna be real
Yeah,
football tomorrow.
yeah. This is where it's at. I mean, if you love football, this is the game. 425 slot, perfect game. We're gonna have Brady on the call, Tim Burkhardt on the call. I mean, it's special, man. You know what I'm saying? These are these special games when you become a good team where you can expect your team to play well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or, one thing that the Lions have done under Dan Campbell is um that they've always been ready to play. You know what I'm saying? In these big games, they very
Especially on the
seldom.
road.
Yep, especially on the road. This whole run started with us beating the Packers and putting them out of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? In a cold weather game in late December, I think early January when we beat the Packers. I think this was when our run started as being a team that's ready for prime time. So um, even though I do think I listen, before I make my pick this week, I'm not picking the
He about to
Lions.
explain himself.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody about to kill me for
Listen,
this
listen. It's
because
not like that, y'all.
and I'm not saying that the Lions aren't better than the Packers. I just feel that because if you look at the Lions schedule, if they don't lose this week, I don't see another loss. Maybe Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? I'm Buffalo at our place, so I think we would beat Buffalo this year. San Fran is not the same team they were last year. They've had a lot of injuries and a lot of issues, circumstances going on with them. I'm picking Green Bay this week only because I think that you're not going to go 16-1. I mean, that's impossible. You know what I'm saying in today's NFL. You know what I mean? I know, you're going to go down with the injuries and everything. I just want to put that out there. I think the Lions are the best? I think the Lions are the second best team in the league. I think the Chiefs are better, and I think the Lions are right there. You know what I'm saying? And I think Baltimore, if you want to make a case for Baltimore, and these Packers are right there above anybody else. I think the Packers are better than Buffalo. I think the Packers are better than half the teams in the AFC, if we could name them. You know what I'm saying? I just think this is a heavyweight bout. They're going to play each other again. I think we'll get them back when we play here in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Remember Thanksgiving, Packers came in here and did their thing, man. They
Yeah.
listen. They meant business. Rashawn Gary, I think, had like 4 sacks in that game, if I can remember. But Green Bay's receiving court, Jaden Reed is fantastic. You know what I'm saying? I love Jaden Reed. He's their version of St. Brown. It just does it all. Christian Watson, who I'm not real fond of. I know he's really fast, but he don't really scare me too much. And listen, not saying the Lions can't win the game. I just think that it's going to come down to some plays at the end. Packers could win the game. This is how the Lions could win the game, Walt. And I think I texted you last night. I want to see Terrion Arnold. I think now. I've
Make
been
a
giving.
play or two.
Yep, I've been giving him grace all year so far, and people that I know, he hasn't really moved the needle much. And I keep saying, man, he's got to get some reps, got to get some game. I know it's been rough for Terrion Arnold. I think Aiden Zero. If the
You
Lions
think
win
he's
this,
due?
yep. If the Lions win this game, well, I'm telling y'all, mark my words, he's gonna make a play in this game. If they are to win, I believe, and he can. I like Taron Arnold a lot. I think that his version, game 15 is gonna be way different from game 2 from this year. You know what I'm saying? I like how they've handled him. Left him on an island, let him figure it out. Excuse me. Left him on an island, let him figure it out, go through the growing pains, and then the reward's going to be much greater. You know what I'm saying? That later on in the season, I'll let you take it away. You know what I'm saying, before we get more into it. But
Yeah. I think with both our takes, we're gonna kind of give away what direction we leaning in. You already let everybody know you rolling with the Packers this week. Time of the season. Wow, it just went off. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Keep going, man. You good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Keep
Yeah.
going.
I think at this point in time of the season, every team is dealing with their share of injuries right now.
Yeah,
Whether it's the receiving core, the running back core. Hopefully, it's not the quarterback core for any team, quarterback room for any team. But
yeah,
we have our share of injuries. They have their share of injuries. You mentioned Makai Wingo, Josh Pascal, Malcolm Rodriguez, all being out. Other guys being kind of limited. You got guys on offense going through things they're going through. And then if you look at Green Bay, you're
yeah,
talking about, and I don't really want to get into the status actually right now because a lot of that stuff is still game time. But you're dealing with Jair Alexander, didn't practice, dealing with the knee injury. He's probably out for the
hmm,
most part. Kenny
yeah,
Clark's been limited all week with a toe injury. The other corner, Corey Ballantine, he's been limited with an ankle injury. Josh Jacobs limited all week with an ankle injury. Jordan Love, of course, he's
yeah,
the most important player on their offense. He's dealing with a groin
yeah,
injury. We all know those groin injuries can be very, very tricky, especially if you don't have time to rest them. He just left last week's game against Jacksonville with that situation. Josh
yeah,
Myers is probably out. At least that's what I heard through Green Bay last week with his wrist injury. Quay Walker was in concussion protocol early in the week.
yeah,
So listen, man, this team, they got their own share of stuff right now. And I just believe
yeah,
that with the way things are all set up, the weather's bad. So even if Jordan Love does play, and that's another thing too, he has, in order for him to be elite, and I think for Green Bay to really reach the level that they can get to, they need him to stop turning the ball over so much. That's the key thing. He's got to protect the ball better. If I'm not mistaken, he's turned the ball over. He's thrown at least one interception, and was it
yeah,
8 straight games now?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not a Packers fan, but just strictly for him, you can't be elite turning the ball over at that rate. So if you factor in the poor weather,
yeah,
we've done a pretty good job of protecting the football since those first 3 weeks of the season when Jared was having his turnover issues. Since
yeah,
then, we've been damn good as far as protecting the football outside of one fumble by David Montgomery. I think we go there, we protect the football, and people forget as much as we score the ball on offense in the air,
yeah,
this team is still built for this type of football game. Like
yeah,
Dan Campbell wants this. If you want to run the ball 40 times, 40 plus times, 20 carries for Jameer, 17 for David, maybe
yeah,
your leading pass catcher has 5 catches for 72 yards. It's possible that that's going to be this type of game.
yes,
So I just think that, Green Bay, they're damn good. And you and I discussed this before the season started, right along with Lamar. He had Minnesota being the Lions' biggest competition. I believe you and I both had Green Bay
mhm,
still being the Lions' biggest competition. They're the most talented team. They've got the best quarterback position between the Bears and the Vikings. Even though we play all three of those teams twice a season, it just feels like Green Bay knows us
yeah,
better than anybody else with the way those games go down. But last season, you brought it up. First time we went to Green Bay, we put it on them. They turned back around, come here for Thanksgiving, put it on us.
yeah,
It's just that type of relationship we got with Green Bay. But of course, can Green Bay win the game? Hell yeah, they can win the game. They're capable of it. They're very capable of it. And then considering the fact that we don't even know who the quarterback is going to be.
yeah,
Could be Malik Willis for all we know,
yeah, yeah. That's
you
right.
know? You can
That's right.
take it.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I was just gonna say, man, very talented. I mean, you look up and down the rosters. You're correct with Quay Walker. Having some issues, injury issues. You go from Romeo Dobbs to Christian Watson to Jaden Reed to uh, Dante Wicks, Bo Melton. I mean, Josh Myers at center. He's having some issues. And listen, and the only reason why I'm giving him the nod this week, the only reason why I think that they can at times get a big sack when they have to. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing the Lions are going to have to do. If the Lions can control the line of scrimmage, if the Lions can get some stops and get off the field on third down, which we've done all that. We've stopped the run pretty much this year. DJ Reader's been fantastic. Um, if the Lions, this is going to be a story of the game. I'm sure Tom Brady's going to say it, and Tim Burkhardt's going to say it throughout the game. If we could get to Jordan Love, then we Lions will win this game. You know what I'm saying? They will. But I don't know if we can do that. Well, I don't think blindly saying, as you Lions fans, well, I think our pass rush will be okay this week. And I think that they'll figure it out. And I think this is going to be the game where we say, well, damn, we're lacking in that department, man, unless somebody steps up. Like you said, I think Josh Pascal's not going to play. Obviously, he's not playing. Mekhi Wingo, the brilliant rookie, from LSU, who's been fantastic to me, a rotational player. He may not play. James Houston has been inept right now at that spot. They've been having James out there. He hasn't been able to get home yet. It just seems like he gets stuck on his first block and he can't shed the block. I don't know, man. To me, the Lions would have to prove to me that they're ready to be able to pressure Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? And this is the Aiden Hutchinson game right here, and we're gonna miss him this week. So to me, I think the Packers are more a sure thing on defense, especially in the fourth quarter when you got to get off the field, make a big play. That's the only reason why I'm going Green Bay's way. But I think that this is a perfect game, as you alluded to, for Dave Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Listen, we got the best 1-2 punch in the league. I'm very happy with the running game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried that we're not going to be able to do anything. But they could crowd the box and force Jared Goff to make a play. You know what I mean? This is going to be the game where we haven't had pressure on us because we've jumped on teams the last month, and we haven't really had to except for the Minnesota game where we got down and got a last field goal at the end of the game. Jared Goff was fantastic in that, getting the Lions in that position. So the weather's going to be a factor. The atmosphere is going to be electric. I'm telling y'all right now, whoever loves football, you got to get in tune with this game,
Lions
man.
fans travel too.
Yeah, Lions fan travel. Yup,
yeah.
It's going to be fantastic, man. But like I said, I just think, it is some weakness on that. I'm not saying that Packers are a juggernaut on offense. I mean, on defense. Xavier McKinney been talking smack, saying the Lions like embarrassing people. You know what I'm saying? And I think I love the smack talk. I love it, especially before a big game. I think the Lions, Ben Johnson, he gangster enough where he gonna try Xavier out there. You know what I'm saying? I think that all trick plays are gonna be on deck this week. I think that they gonna prove a point that they can do it on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that we don't get too cute in our game plan and just go out there and run the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to me how the national media has did quite a 360 on the Lions, man. I think it's very important. I've been watching a numerous amount of I think the only people that's kind of like not believing in Lions, I think it's Shady McCoy. I think he's still like the Lions are still the Lions of old, that type of thing. I don't trust them. They not as good as everybody say they are. And it's
but like my and I want to let you get back to that because that's what bothers me, man. You can't just throw that out there and think I'm not gonna jump on it. That's what bothers me about these people, man.
Yeah,
this is a brand new GM from a winning organization. This is a brand new head coach from a winning organization, coached under a Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton. This is a completely different roster from anything that the past regimes had.
Yeah.
This is a team that went from 3 wins to 9 wins to 12 plus wins last year to being on pace for 14, 15 wins this year.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you don't trust them. So you don't trust what? A spirit? Like you don't trust ownership? Like what is it that you don't trust? Because this is what I hate, man. You hear this you typically don't hear this from running backs, linebackers, like people who understand what it takes to win in football. You would think a running back would have more sense than that.
Mm-hmm.
To see how this team is built, to say you don't believe it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Is wild to me, man. I just wanted to ask that question, man.
Yeah.
Just comment on that because I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
at a
Well,
point now where you just don't want to believe.
yeah, and I thought, and the question was, I think it was saying Alcho made the comment. He didn't necessarily say the Lions wasn't good. He was just basically saying that he don't believe that. Like the question was, are they the best team? Who's the best team, the Lions or the Chiefs? And he was
Right.
just basically, and you can have your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I think the Chiefs are better. You know what I'm saying than the Lions. That's not saying that I don't think the Lions are good. But that only reason why I'm saying because they're 7-0, we're 6-0. Kansas City's undefeated, so obviously they're the better team based on the record. You know what I'm saying? So for me, he's been pushing that narrative for a while though, not just that question. Yeah, even last year he like, I don't believe it, blah blah blah. You know, Lions fans are a joke. You know, to even think that they're elite at this point. You know what I'm saying? It just and then you got people with their conspiracies and saying that the Lions this, the Lions that. Like if you like the Lions, like I had this somebody said this, like if you like the Lions, it's some type of weird uh world conspiracy. Like this is what they said. They said that if you like the Lions and it's a distraction from what's going on in the world. And it was just like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with sports and politics or anything like that. It's stupid, man. I mean, you people really got a lot of messed up theories on why the Lions are good, and it just is crazy to me. Like, the conversation is like, do you even watch football, or do you even watch like what's going on? Or some people, I heard somebody say, well, I don't like the Lions because of what they did to Jim Caldwell, and they're never going to be good in my book because they fired Jim Caldwell. And it's like, dude, I don't even want to talk to you.
Really.
I just turn around and walk away. It's like, it's way more other stuff in life to be worried, concerned about than that. You know what I'm saying? So, the off the beaten path, me and you talk about football. We talk about the draft. We talk about this team. And we be doing everybody, all our listeners, watchers are a disservice if we just out here just spreading like, Lions white picket fence and clear sunny skies. I mean, we kind of tell it like it is on both sides, right? I mean, this week, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure when people watch this video, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, Ashanti picking the Green Bay this week." You know what I'm saying? And then if you have an opinion on it, some people think, well, you turning your back on the team is you don't pick them every week or something like that. And it's like, you got to be realistic too. So let me ask the people out there: do you think the Lions are going to go 16-1? You know what I'm saying? The way I look at it is we got a good squad. Who's going to be like man enough to knock this team off? You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? I think, listen, if we
I
win
don't
this
even
week,
necessarily think it's that. I think it's us having an off day. And
yeah,
another fan brought that up to me a few days ago. Like, it doesn't even have to be the next game we lose, whether it's tomorrow at Green Bay or it's prime time against the Houston Texans or it's Jacksonville or whoever the hell it is, or it's at Indianapolis. I have a strong feeling that when it happens, it's going to be because we had an off night. I think that's what it is. Because typically when you this hot, and we discussed this before, this team is white hot right now.
yeah,
Typically when that winning streak comes to an end, it doesn't come to an end with a 3-point loss
yeah,
or a 2-point loss. It's usually an egg you laid. So
yeah,
I just want fans, at least this is just my perspective. I just think that from our perspective as fans, when this team finally does end this winning streak, it's gonna probably be ugly. I don't think it's gonna be tomorrow against Green Bay though.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I
Well,
mean, it could be at Indianapolis against Joe Flacco and that Colts defense. I don't think it's going to be against Jacksonville. I'll be shocked if it was against Jacksonville.
yeah.
And given the current state of the Houston Texans, I'm not sure if it'll be against Houston either.
Well, that's the game I had circled. It was 3 games this year that I had a for sure loss, and
Houston?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I had the Cowboys. Boy, was I wrong about the Cow. This was at the beginning of the season though. Before, so I had the Lions losing to the Cowboys, losing this week to the Packers, and losing to the Texans. But now I don't think I think the Lions are absolutely going to beat Houston. You know what I mean? I don't. I think Houston got a bunch of issues, man. We'll get to that next week, but you know what I'm saying. If they don't win, if the Lions win this week, bro, I mean, think about it. Houston. Jaguars at home, I think that's an automatic win against them. The Colts, maybe Joe Flacco. Hey, like you said, we've seen weirder things happen.
I mean, they
Uh,
do have wide receivers over there in
yeah,
Indianapolis too. They got Jonathan Taylor.
yeah, good offensive line. So yeah, that's good. It's a road game. And then Thanksgiving against the Bears, which I think we owe the Bears. You know what I'm saying? The Bears been kind of having a way with the Lions, man. You know what I'm saying? We squeaked out a win, last year in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? That Justin Fields game. But yeah, so I think the Lions in dang on good shape, man. If we win this one, bro, we might win 9 in a row, 10 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So
So, what do you think about the numbers? You got the money line because I didn't find the money line, but we are
yeah,
looking at -3 Detroit. I think it started, if I'm not mistaken, it started at +1.5 Detroit.
yeah,
And I could understand if they had a +1.5 Detroit. It is Green Bay, a divisional game. Even though we've won 2 straight there,
yeah,
it's still a divisional game. Green Bay's still a tough team.
yeah,
Jordan Love is still a capable quarterback. You're looking at the weather, whatnot. I just don't. And you and I discussed this. I think was it after the Seattle game or was it after the Arizona game that we figured this team had kind of garnered enough respect that if you looked at the rest of the schedule, we
yeah.
should be favored in all of these games. I still found it strange that we started out not favored
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay, even if it is at Green Bay.
Yeah,
But I think, man, the type of game it could turn out to be. This is right up our alley. They're willing to run the football. They're willing to not push the ball downfield. Is Jordan Love willing to not push the ball downfield in this type of weather?
yeah,
And this is gonna be windy too. It's not just the rain. It don't have to necessarily be a heavy rainstorm, but that wind is gonna kill a lot too out there. And if the wind has any effect on the kicking game, now it's going to come down to coaching. How do you manufacture points? Because it gets to a situation where not necessarily how it gets in Chicago, but that wind in Green Bay, because they talking about 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. So that right there is going to affect the kicking game. It's going to
yeah.
affect the punting game. It's going to affect the field goal kicking. Do
That's
we
right.
go for it more on fourth down? Does Green Bay go for it more on fourth down?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be it's going to be an X's and O's coaching game between our guy and their guy.
yeah. Facts, facts. And I got it right here, Walt. Money line is Lions at 148, minus
Yep.
148, Packers plus 124. So what that tells me is the betting money is on the Lions to win the game. You know what I'm saying? The Packers, you can win money if you bet the Packers and they win the game outright. So you would win more if you bet the Packers, basically. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it could even be right now. You say yeah, it's three. Yeah, it's three on DraftKings too on the point spread.
Yep.
So I was gonna say it didn't move. I mean, and that's about right. That's Green Bay fans might take that them odds right now. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of think they need to show up against the Lions. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Corey?
Yeah. What's up,
Um,
Corey?
they need uh the Packers need this game, and I think their fan base is kind of and the Packers have been weirdly humble this week. I mean, I haven't heard any the Lions are frauds type things. You know what I'm saying? Because usually they would say, like last year, they were saying, and I think we kind of earned their respect a little bit. You know what I mean? Because they kind of think that that hey, we the team to beat. We won the division last year, so they basically saying this is a measuring stick for their team. You know what I mean? Even Matt LaFleur even said as much too as well. He, I don't know if it was a lot of coach speak out there, but he was just basically saying that the Lions are rolling right now, and you know what I'm saying, and that you have to, you got to be ready to play them. You know what I'm saying? And I think both teams gonna be ready, man. I think it's gonna be motivated. Um, yeah, I know Corey. That's what I was just talking about Xavier McKinney. You know what he said. I think you need stuff to fire you up as a player. I think we always say, well, these guys make millions of dollars, and that very little can motivate a guy that makes $10 million a year to go out. What can motivate him? Well, something like that was Xavier McKinney saying
Well, he
that could
leading the
get.
league in picks too, so he extra confident right now.
Yeah, of course. And I love that he said what he said. You know what I'm saying? Because if he feels like that, he said it. And then if the Lions take offense to it, they gonna prove. Ben Johnson gangster like that, man. Dan Campbell, I think, we all
Yeah,
know how Dan just like, okay, if you feel that way, we gonna run some trick
I think
plays
it's
on you.
bad for him because Xavier is
Yeah.
a good player, very
Yeah.
good player. I know you
Very good
wanted him.
player.
You
Yeah.
had interest in him in free agency. Matter of fact, this past all season. But the problem is this:
Yeah.
you're just a safety, and I love safeties, but you're just a safety,
Yeah.
and you're potentially writing checks that your corner has got to cash.
Yeah,
And
man.
if
Just
Jair doesn't play and Ballantine doesn't play, they have to answer to that shit. Not you. Well, you're gonna have to answer for some of it too.
yeah.
But the problem is this also. I have a feeling we gonna pull Green Bay into an ugly rushing the ball type of game.
We can
Now,
win
do
that
they
way.
want to do that with Jacobs? If Jacobs plays, whether Jacob plays or not, they're still very there's not a lot of cohesion with them, Green Bay, offensively or defensively. There's a lot of
Mhm.
talent, there's a lot of guys making plays, but you don't see the consistency out of either side of the football. But
Yeah.
when they decide to dedicate themselves to running the football, they solid. Like they have the perfect blend. If you look at the wide receiver core, you look at the talent of the quarterback position, the talent of the backup quarterback position,
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, like they have everything to really match up with us. But
Yeah.
are they going to stick to it? Because I have a strong feeling Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson are going to pull those dudes into a helmet cracking game.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Golf may
that
throw the ball 17, 18 times.
Yeah.
They're going to force Green Bay to drop them
To
at
play
some
our
point in
way.
time.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
play our way. Yeah, yep. And then if that happens, then um, how that's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh, we
not
got a
gonna go
Packer
great.
fan in the house.
Yeah, yeah. What's up?
What's
What's
up,
up?
Eli Ice? I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's a nice
Yep.
rap name, man.
Yeah. They got rappers in Wisconsin. uh yeah, but look at they D line walk. Rashawn Gary, who I alluded to, we familiar with Rashawn
Tremendous
Gary.
player.
Tremendous player for
Got
Michigan.
better as a pro. Not all
Yep.
Michigan players do, but Rashawn got way better. He was way better as a pro than he was at Michigan.
Yeah. Yep. Devontae Wyatt, another guy like you mentioned,
Yeah,
Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, another guy on the end, always gives the Lions problems. Lucas Van Ness coming off the edge. Really like
big
Lucas
time
Van Ness.
talent.
Yep. TJ Slayton, man. They got Carl Brooks. They're loaded. They really are. The linebacker core is like Isaiah McDuffie, to go with a guy I wanted last year, Edgerrin Cooper. I don't think he's really done too much from Texas A&M this year, but it's because they got a loaded roster. You don't
Yeah,
expect
they
too
do.
much from them. So the secondary is what I was keying on because Walt, I think you got something there because Kason Nixon and Jai Alexander, they will give up the big play. They will. They'll give up a lot of chunk plays. You know what I'm saying? And I think,
Well, Jair is a hell of a player, man.
yeah,
When he plays, it just seems like he's always, whether it's against us, he's limited in practice and may play or may not play. But like I said, when Jair came out of college, I wanted Jair. Like the
mhm.
Packers have about 5 or 6 players that you and I both said over
Want
the
it.
past.
Oh
Carl
man.
Brooks, like Carl Brooks was a guy that saying I know I wanted for sure in last year's draft because I felt like he was the perfect blend pass rush wise of what we kind of needed. Like if we had Carl Brooks right now,
Yeah.
the guy that got the size to play 2 tech and 3 and 4 and is a natural pass rusher at the size he is, yeah,
Yeah.
the Packers got so much talent on that defense, but it just seems like there's a disconnect. Either the secondary is really good and the front seven is bad, or the front seven is really good and
Yeah.
the back half is bad. But when they get together and they play together, they're the biggest competition to us.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't I think the defensive line is just strong. So I'm just gonna say that. I said if we had to match this team up with with the Lions, you may want to give them the nod on their defensive line. They could be a little bit better. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, I agree.
You know what
I
I'm
agree. Green
saying?
Bay's
But
defensive line is better.
our secondary is better. I believe that. I believe our back end is way better. I think this the cornerback situation. This I'm saying, Terrion Arnold. This is his game, man. Him and Carlton Davis. I mean, people might laugh when I say Carlton Davis, but he's been okay. I mean, he hasn't been.
He's competed. They've
He
all competed. They've all had their moments.
Yeah, and I think that, man. I think that if you get baited in to keep trying to pick on Terrion Arnold, I think he's good enough player where people they're gonna try to find a soft spot in the Lions secondary. Well, you're not gonna do it with Kirby Joseph. You're not gonna do it with Brian. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna try to beat us over the top because we see the Lions are very opportunistic. Just like they got Xavier McKinney, we got Kirby Joseph, man. You know what I'm saying? He might be second in the league in interception right behind him. So, um, it's going to be really a challenge to see, like you said, who's going to be able to stick to the plan, their game plan, and really stick to it. And the first team that comes out of character and try to get too cute, I think that's going to hurt. You know what I mean? For the Lions, I believe like this is again, this I can see this happening. Picture this scenario, Walt. We get the ball first, go down, get stopped, fourth down play, fourth down, it's a 4th and 5 or so, 4th and 9, let's say 4th and 2. Lions try to run it, get stopped. You know what I'm saying? And then the Packers come back and capitalize, score a touchdown, that type of thing. You know what I mean? If we get baited into playing that way and not capitalizing on our end, I think we can get behind real quick and get in trouble. I think now whoever gets behind in this game, it may feel like a lot of points. Like let's just say if it's 10-0 lead, it
Yeah,
could feel like it's 20-0 because I like you said, I don't think it's going over that 47 number this week. I think
I
it's going
don't
to
either.
be, I think it's going to be a real tight game, and whoever scores first may have the advantage. Because then you can settle in and play your game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if the Packers get ahead, they can try to pin their ears back and get after Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? And the Lions, if we behind, how can we put some pressure on the Packers and force them to throw the ball more? You know what I'm saying? Because they get behind, they might say, you know what, we're gonna run the ball. But
No, you're absolutely right, because I think
you
that's
know,
a situation that whether he plays,
yeah,
Malik Willis.
yeah,
Malik has played really well for them. I'm happy for him. He got out of that
yeah,
situation in Tennessee where he wasn't given a fair shake. And
yeah,
we see who they gave the fair shake to, and we see how that kind of worked out for Tennessee. But I'm happy this dude moved on to a better organization. He's in a
yeah,
better situation. He's backing up a guy who's a bona fide starter for the
yeah,
team and the situation he's in, and he's comfortable. He's in an opportunity to learn.
yeah. That's
But
right.
yeah, I just think that they're Green Bay, man. What really scares me about this game, I think, more than anything else, is the fact that they will take shots downfield. And when you got Romeo Dobbs and you got Watson and you got the kid, not Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed. That's two different Michigan State wide receivers, matter of fact. But yeah, you got
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Reed out there who's kind of
Yeah,
like, as you mentioned, they're Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they utilize everybody.
yeah. Romeo
Like we
Dobbs,
do. Like
man.
you don't
Yeah,
find too
yep,
many games where it's Watson for 14 catches and 280 and a touchdown or two, and Jaden Reed for 7 for 150. Like it's a
yeah,
bunch of you get 3 catches, you get 7 catches, you get 5 catches, you get 4 catches out the backfield, and they do a really good job of utilizing the weapons that they have.
yeah, yeah,
Jordan Love just has to stop giving away possessions for them in
yeah,
their case. But I could see a situation where for either team, and I keep going back to the weather because anything can happen that you can find yourself behind 20-0. It could
yeah,
be a fumble on a kick return, a punt return. Packers take over deep in our territory, punch the ball in quick ass 7-0. They
yeah,
get a field goal on the next possession. Next thing you know, tip ball in the air, wet football, pick six, Green Bay. Next thing you know, they up 20 to it can happen.
yeah,
And when you fall behind in bad weather,
yeah,
now you start pressing.
yeah,
And you don't
yeah,
want to press in bad weather. And I
yeah,
think that's something that both teams have to really take into account. I think you looking at LaFleur and Dan Campbell, neither head coach wants to see their team fall behind in a situation like that. You would almost rather play in cold weather. I'm pretty sure they would rather the weather be somewhere like in the mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what the temperature is scheduled to be tomorrow, but I've been more concerned about the wind and the rain, because once elements start to get involved, now
Yeah.
you have a situation where, okay, the best team doesn't always win, because all it takes is a handful of mistakes. I just think that we go there, we play clean football.
Yeah.
This team is mentally built to play on the road. Scheme wise, they're built to play on the road, defensively as well as offensively. I'm gonna say under that 47 and a half, and I'm gonna say 24-20 Detroit.
Okay. Yeah.
I can see a situation where Green Bay may even go into the fourth quarter up 20-17.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we make a couple stops on defense, keep Green Bay out of the end zone, do enough to get our offense the ball back. Because I can see a situation where our offense actually does struggle in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the defense does enough to keep the offense in the game, allow Ben Johnson to keep his offensive playbook open. We score 7 in the fourth quarter, shut Green Bay out in the fourth, and we win 24-20.
Okay. Okay. You got the script. You
And
got the
cover the
script.
spread.
Okay. 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 For
And
the
cover the
win
spread.
and cover the spread. Man, that's a hell of a script.
Whenever I
Right
see
there.
that flat number, bro, whenever I
No.
see a number that 3, I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the over.
You gonna take the over? Okay. Okay.
I'm
Got
gonna
you.
take that team typically to cover the spread, man. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love it. I'm gonna try to top your scenario. I'm gonna try to. I can see this. I can see a game where it's gonna be some fourth downs. Both teams are gonna go for it. I think. When it comes down to it, I see this game's gonna be a grudge match. I don't see a blowout nowhere in sight either way. That's another thing. I think we've been kind of mollywopping everybody. I don't think that either way. I'd be shocked if the Lions weren't ready to play this game, but I think the weather's gonna be a factor. Yeah, I really do. Y'all know me. I bleed blue, Lions blue, Lions silver, however you want to call it, Lions black. I bleed it all. I just believe Packers gonna get this one. You know what I'm saying? And then we got bigger fish to fry with them down the road. You know what I'm saying? I can really see a scenario where we get down 7-10 points, and then we try to work our way back. We maybe get back in the game, possibly tie the game. And then I think at the end of this game, I think it's going to be a situation where Green Bay makes some plays because we can't get to the quarterback in the fourth quarter. And I think it's going to be an under game. I can see the Packers winning maybe, I would say, like 19-13 or something like that. You know what I mean? I really think it's going to be a low-scoring game. We've been on fire, Walt, offensively. If we go out and score 30 this week against this team and in this environment, bro, we may not lose another game. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I just feel like I don't think nobody can beat us, man, in the NFC. I really don't. I think the Packers are the rest of the NFC shot to beat us, man. And I really believe that. I think that before I really was like on the Chicago bandwagon. I don't think they can beat the Lions. This game is really going to come down to us not being able to get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I believe. I think that glaring hole that we've been kind of like not addressing, and people kind of saying we're okay and we're not, we don't need another guy and blah blah blah. I think it's really gonna come back to haunt us this week. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe we're decimated on the D line, man. No
Well,
Petco, no
no Wingo,
Davenport, no
no
Wingo,
Pascal.
no Pascal. I mean, it's gonna come back to haunt you. You know what I'm saying? If we win this one, Walt, look out.
What do
I
we
mean,
get? What do we get? We managed to get 2 takeaways.
it's
Because
a wrap,
that's how it
man.
happens. Hey, man, it
That's a
happens
wrap.
that way. It
It's a
happens
wrap.
that way. What do we get 2 takeaways?
Yeah, my guy Terry and Arnold. Now, like I
Uh,
say, hey,
Arnold
Terry
with
and
a pick
Arnold, give me
six,
give me an interception this week. Terry and Arnold,
or
prove
a
me
strip, a
wrong.
fumble, a forced fumble
Something,
or something.
right? Something. A sack fumble would be nice. A strip sack fumble would be nice. Show me, prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong this week. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't think they're a better team. I think, like I said, we play them in after Thanksgiving, I think, and I think they'll come here and we'll return the favor. You know what I'm saying? And beat them. I think Lions Packers might play each other in the playoffs down the road. I think that much of this
Well,
matchup. You know
it
what I'm
is the
saying?
30-year anniversary of the Sterling Sharp catch
Yeah.
in the
So
NFC wild card game.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yep. So, boy, Walt, I'm just excited for the game, man. It's really going to be a really good game, man. I really believe that. I think that longest, uh, you know, a lot of times we build up a lot of games and then and then the game's not really that good once they get on the field because either one team is just unequivocally not better than the other team or it was a lot of hype built up. I do think the media is really building up the Lions offense, maybe too much. I mean, I don't want to sound like a hater, but maybe they kind of need to be get brought down to earth because remember we play better when we kind of like not being hunted after. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we the underdog, we kind of play better. Now when people expecting us to lay the smackdown and score 40, they may not. You know what I mean? In this game, it's a possibility. So
I think at the end of the day, all you got to do is win, though.
yeah,
Like whether they, I mean, yeah, we beat down Dallas, we beat down Tennessee last week. People hyped up the Dallas game, despite the fact that Dallas leading up to that game hadn't been good all season. We went there, we hammered them, came back home, we hammered Tennessee. We didn't have a letdown. That's the key thing. Some people thought we were going to have a letdown against Tennessee. We didn't. They
hmm
erased that. Um, it's just about winning. I don't think the national media, they understand it's the Green Bay Packers is a divisional game.
hmm
That's why when you see the Baltimore Ravens lose to the Cleveland Browns, nobody says anything.
yeah,
Because whether the Browns are good in that particular year or not,
hmm
it's still the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. For
yeah,
lack of a better phrase, blank happens.
yeah.
So, I mean, if we beat them 16-14, you know what they're going to say? Grit. That was grit. It was a gritty win. I think it's at the end of the day, man. It's no style points in the NFL. People get impressed when they see you blow somebody out because typically in the NFL you don't see blowouts. You don't see 30-point wins in the NFL. That's why when we saw that Miami Dolphin Denver Bronco game a year ago, it was like 70 points. Like you never see a 70-point scored in the NFL game
Yeah,
by one team, not even two teams for that matter combined. So I think for Lions fans and for the national media, once you establish yourself as a winning organization,
yeah,
all you gotta do is win. That's
yeah.
it. People understand the conditions, the wind, the rain. It's a road game. It's a divisional opponent. All we
hmm
got to do is go there and win. That's my whole thing. That's why I got 24-20. But we both have the under on this as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I got the under. Yeah, and but put up what Corey, that was a good point. Corey put up, do you think yeah, there we go. Yeah, and that's I think I hit on it, Corey. I don't know if he was listening, but that would be my motivation because they kind of came in and did what they wanted. Remember, they jumped on the Lions, you know what I'm saying? And it was sort of like,
They kind of owed us though, because we
yeah,
did
because
jump on them
yeah,
early in the
remember
season on
in
their
yep,
field.
exactly. On that Thursday night in Green Bay, we we got on them boys. So yeah, I agree with you, Corey. I think that this team, different parts of the season, different things motivate you, man. I really think that if they go out here and have a business like performance and take on the Packers, you like, oh boy, the Lions, they looking at that number one seed, they looking at home
But then
field.
people gonna keep moving the goalposts on us. All right, well, go prime time. Go to Houston and beat them.
Yeah, right. Or
Like
Green Bay was
okay,
missing. Jordan Love wasn't healthy, or you know what I'm saying?
if y'all really for real, y'all will beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, right,
Y'all won't
right.
have a letdown.
Yeah, I just think it's a good matchup, man. And perfect time in the
Yeah,
season to play because we've had some cupcake games, and we beat up on some teams as we should. And now, now it's remember we always say once the calendar flips in November, it's winning time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get these wins. I
60
think,
at Green Bay.
yeah, I think this is a game. I think the Packers kind of need this game, Walt, because you can't like get down because they're 6-2, right? They haven't had a bye week yet. I don't
I think
think.
the entire NFC need to see it. I mean,
Yeah, if
especially
they
especially our division outside of us. Because the
exactly.
Bears, they beat Minnesota. If they beat Green Bay, them dudes might be unstoppable.
Exactly. Because the teams that's looking up at us, like Washington,
Yep.
and that whole NFC West is 4-4.
Yep.
I think, and the Rams are 3-4. So they're rooting for the Packers to win. But obviously, us one of these teams, somebody gonna have 7 wins coming out of this game, man. Did I have 7 wins right now at this juncture of the season? With the rest of the NFC, maybe Philly, kind of causing some problems now. It's a huge game, man. You know what I mean? It's a good upper hand. I like that we do have another game against the Packers. So either way it goes, whether win or lose, I think it's going to be another, you know, way to test, where each team is at. You know what I mean? Because like you said, let's be honest, I think both of these teams are going to be in it. Damn sure the Packers making the playoffs. It's just, right now, this is just seeding, positioning, tiebreaker type. That's all that's at stake this week. You're not gonna,
Yeah, for
lose.
damn sure. Because if we fall to 6-2,
Yeah,
Green Bay 6-2. Well, they no Green Bay will be
they'll be
7-2,
7-2. Yeah,
and we'll be
so
tied with Minnesota. No, we won't be tied with Minnesota because we'll have a 1-up game on them.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know what if you've seen the other games. I sent you. If you want to hit on it real quick. Those other games, it was Denver and Baltimore this week. The Broncos, Baltimore 9.5 point favorites. I wanted to hit that a little bit. Over and under 46.5 on that one.
You said
Denver
Broncos are 9.5 points.
underdog. Yeah, Baltimore is 9.5 point favorites this week. Remember, we always say seven is kind of disrespectful in the NFL these days. If you are underdog and it's more than 7-8 points, dude, it's like they don't respect. And I think Denver's totally getting disrespected here in this one. I think Baltimore is not as great as everybody say they are. I mean, I know they got Lamar Jackson. I love Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And I like what they've done, to this point. But I don't think the defense is as strong as it has been. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to give up, for them to be 9.5 point favorites, and then the money line is Denver plus 370. That's I'm taking that all day long, man. Baltimore minus 485 on the money line. I just want to put that out there this week. Do I think Baltimore going to win the game? Of course I do against the Broncos, but
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be closer than 9.5 points, man. You know what I'm
What's the
saying? And
over under?
over and under is 46.5 on this one.
Mm,
I can see a lot of
mm.
points because I think Denver might have a better defense than Baltimore, to be honest with
That's
you.
possible.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think they hot. I ain't gonna say. Let me use the word hot. I've been using the word hot a lot lately. I think Denver, Peyton is low key doing a pretty decent job over there with what he has right now in his second draft class.
Yeah,
Bo Nix is playing well
yeah,
for a rookie, even though he's an advanced rookie. Looking at his age,
yeah.
Denver, man, this is. I agree with you 100%. Honestly, I think Denver's been playing better than people have been giving them credit for. They've been playing better as the season has progressed. And Baltimore will play down to the level of some teams, man. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Browns.
Mhm.
This is a game I don't think they lose, but I will take, if I was betting on this game, I don't
Yeah,
bet anymore. But if I was
yeah,
betting on this game, I
yeah.
would take Broncos with the points. I'll take the
Me too.
Broncos to lose less than 9.5,
Dinner
less than
bell.
10. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly the point I was making. Right. I think Baltimore going to win on their home field, but I could see a very close game. You know what I'm saying? And over in the points because, like you
They
said, the
have
way.
some odd performances, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then Sean Payton is, I think Sean Payton's a damn good, especially an offensive mind. You know what I'm saying? So I believe he'll be able to, spring his guys open and get some, score some points. And I think that's the way you beat the Ravens because they want to slow it down. They want to have Derrick Henry, run the rock, you know what I'm saying, and kind of be methodically go down the field, kind of like the Lions approach a little bit and kind of nick and cut you and get down there, and then boom, try to get a big play with Zay Flowers, just what the Lions do, kind of the same
Yeah.
game plan. But like you said, I think the Broncos can get to the quarterback. I think the secondary is damn good. Hey, this is going to be a struggle for the Ravens this week. So, anybody money line is plus 370 on Denver if you just want to put a couple bucks on the Broncos. And then the second game what I had was Chicago and the Cardinals. Man, the Cardinals are 1.5 point favorites at home. Over and under is 44.5 on this one. Chicago is plus 105 on the money line. Arizona minus 125. So it's a big game because whoever loses Chicago and Arizona might not make the playoffs, man, just because it's going to be some teams that fight. It's going to be about 6 teams fighting for 2 spots in the NFC, I believe. You know what I'm saying? And,
You said
you know,
Arizona 1.5.
yeah, Arizona one
Yeah.
and a half point favorites at home against the Bears. Over and under is 44.5. Chicago on the money line is plus 105. Arizona is minus 125. So big game. Arizona got Chicago on their home field. The Lions did go to Arizona and win. So now Chicago's turn. I think I know. I don't know. I think that losing that game to Washington last week on a Hail Mary, that really was a game that's going to come back to haunt the Bears, I believe. I don't know. I starting to believe in Arizona again. I thought they were one of my dark horse teams for the beginning of the season. I think Arizona wins this game, man. I think they're going to cover. Obviously, it's only 1.5, but I think they win a close game. You know what I'm saying? Chicago may have to go through some growing pains with Caleb and get close this year. Maybe 7 wins or something like that, 8 wins, Walt, and not make the playoffs and then come back next year. But Arizona, this is their, kind of part of their schedule where they can make some noise. That NFC West is up for grabs too, man. So if you want to comment on it, like I said, I just picked that game too.
No,
I just
I
like,
get it. I get it
yeah,
completely because it's sort of a toss up, but then it's not a toss up because if you look at Chicago, they still struggle to score offensively. They still struggle to consistently put together good sustaining drives. You'll get a couple flashes out of Caleb from time to time, but they still
yeah,
find themselves at 15 points,
yeah,
17 points, 21 points.
yeah,
Um, Kyler's way further ahead. I think Kyler's playing good football right now. He's not turning the ball over. Marvin Harrison Jr. still hasn't broken out, like had his major game. I think
yeah,
as a pro, he could be due
yeah,
anytime soon. Trey McBride is a hell of a tight end.
yeah.
They can run the ball with Connor. So and then they are at home. And
Mhm.
also, this is something to take into account. This is Caleb Williams' very first trip to the desert.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy things happen up there, man.
Man, weird stuff.
Crazy
Weird.
things happen up there. And you talking about asking Arizona to win by two plus.
Yeah.
I'll take Arizona. I
Yeah.
agree. I think Arizona's gonna win the game straight up. Yeah.
Hmm.
Arizona minus 1.5. Definitely, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think you said what would you said the under was? The over under was?
44.5 on this one. I think it's an over game too. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll go over.
Yeah, the Bears have been good defensively. They just haven't been able to score too much at a consistent rate.
Uh,
I could see it going over. I could see it going over.
yeah.
But
Yeah, for
maybe
sure.
Arizona kind of pushes that over.
Yeah.
Arizona may mess around and score 27, 28 points against the Bears. So I'll take the over as well.
Okay, I got some fun stuff here, Walt. For the Lions this week, our bets. Man, this I love this week. Okay, anytime touchdowns, Walt. Anytime touchdowns. Look at this boy. We got Sam Laporta plus 200. And I'm telling y'all last week, broken tuba, don't kill me for this one. I did say Tim Patrick last week because I believe he's getting more part of offense. He didn't even get a ball thrown his way last week, I don't think. But Tim Patrick plus 400. Okay, both those guys, Walt, anytime touchdown this week. Sam Laporta plus 200 and Tim Patrick plus 400. I just believe it's going to be you're going to have the short game to win this game. and the Lions got it. We got it in a running game. We can do it with either Gibbs or Montgomery, but the short passes, Laporta, the across the middle to St. Brown. Maybe a Tim Patrick touchdown. If we get close to the goal line, he can use his big body, and get open and get up on the top of them guys. So I'm looking at that anytime touchdown. Sam Laporta plus 200, Tim Patrick plus 400. I think
Let
that's
me
good.
edit that. Don't want to put the wrong numbers up there.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. But Sam Laporta slowly working his way back into the Lions and offense. I don't think that they've been shying away from
Yeah.
it. I just think we're so loaded and the running game's been working so well.
The
You
tight
know,
end gets left out
yeah,
in a
and I
lot of
think
offenses like that. Yeah.
he played at Iowa. Cold weather, you know what I'm saying? This is a perfect Sam Laporta game right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Big, strong guy. Just like on the other end, they got Tucker Kraft on the other end. Damn good tight end. It's gonna be a good game, man. I mean, but Laporta on our end. We ain't talking about the Packers right now, but Sam Laporta plus 200, Tim Patrick plus 400. What's your thoughts on that right there? You think that could?
My first thought is Broken Tube lying on us, man.
I know.
Mike,
I
Mike
know.
told you he do this every week, man. Nobody told you to put 400 on Denver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Although, if it happened, listen, man, I'm gonna say that it's not to necessarily go back to that Denver game, man.
Uh huh.
The Ravens have them type of performances, man. We saw it against the Raiders. We
Yeah,
saw it against the Browns. We saw it was it last year against the Giants?
yeah,
A bad team. Like they have. If you ask the Ravens to go out there and play an elite team, they're gonna beat them by 30.
yeah,
But when you put these middle of the road to below average teams in front of the Ravens, it's like they get bored. And that's another reason why I can't trust them. For one reason, I can't trust them is Lamar Jackson's record in the playoffs and
yeah,
his touchdown to interception ratio in the playoffs.
yeah,
But
yeah,
also, y'all don't take care of business when y'all obviously should take care of business.
yeah,
That's why I can't trust Baltimore. But
yeah,
plus 400 on Broncos, I still won't do that, man.
yeah,
If it happens and you miss out, you just miss out, man. But I can't tell you to do that, man.
yeah,
I can't tell you to do that. He also says Patrick finally let me down last week, but Laporta is a good bet. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. One other one I got here, Walt. I got two others actually. Okay, this is a combined points. This is a Lions under 21 and a half points plus 164. So for me, this is what I mean. Like I'm taking an under in this game, Lions and Pack. I don't think it's going to go over 47 and a half.
Mhm.
So therefore, I'm saying the Lions are going to score under 21 points this week. So I would put my money on that plus 164 under the Lions going over 21 and a half points this week. What you think about that?
I could agree. Cause like I said, I had 20 for at least for the listeners who just joined in and didn't hear what we covered about a
Mm-hmm.
half hour ago. I took the under. I got 24-20 Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There you
very
go.
well possible 21 could win it in this game. We both could be wrong. It's the NFL. We could because this is what happens also in games like this where the weather could be a factor. We might
Yeah.
mess around and see 31-31 at some point in time because there's been so many big plays.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, DBs slipping, giving up big plays in the passing game, wide receivers slipping, coming out of their cuts, giving up interceptions. You got overthrows, you got batted balls. Sometimes you got running backs putting the ball on the ground in that type of weather. It's
Yeah.
possible that it could also go over. But I
Yeah.
just think that typically what we see with weather-wise in those types of games and the matchup between these two teams, also the fact that Malik Willis may be the starter. So
Yeah.
I don't expect them to just drop. If he does start, I don't expect Malik to just drop back and throw the ball 26, 27 times. They're
Yeah.
going to try to limit his throws to around 20, and they're going to try to establish the run game. But I think someone mentioned it in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to stop the run against us, but they're probably not going to be successful. And if you
Yeah.
can't stop us from running the football, that kind of completely throws off what you can do offensively. And I think
Yeah.
that's the key thing. We've beaten some good teams. It's just the fact that what we do offensively throws off what they can do offensively when they get the football because Teams are finding themselves behind the 8 ball too much. The defensive line is getting beat on because we run so many duo concepts at you and we put 2 guys on 1 guy consistently. And
Mhm.
these defensive linemen struggle to handle that for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think, man, this is a game where we're way beyond mentally prepared to go there and do this to these dudes. Pause.
Yeah. Facts.
so and we went there the last 2 seasons and beat them.
Facts.
Yeah, I
Facts.
see no reason why we can't go there and do it. If Green Bay wins, I'm not surprised. I'm not down on the team. I'm not gonna say,
No,
okay, we got to
absolutely
run
not.
out and get rid. We got to trade for somebody right now immediately because we lost the game.
Yeah.
But it's a game that's very, very winnable for us. Corey says one more thing. Malik gonna try and use his legs, and I said that because I don't think they don't want golf throwing much in that weather. Maybe I'm wrong. No, you're right. You're right. I
Absolutely right.
think
Yeah.
Malik Willis is a wild card of this. How much do they run him? Linebacker wise, big game for Jack Campbell. PFF has Jack Campbell rated as I think the second or third best overall line on the defense.
Yeah. He
Is
balling,
this a
man.
game for him? Is this a
Yeah.
game where Jack gets his 11, 12 tackles
Yeah.
and
Jack
a
be
forced
balling.
fumble?
Yeah. That's my guy. Yeah. Yeah. And then I had one last one here, a fun one here off our little bet part here segment. Montgomery and Gibbs to combine for 150 yards total plus 150. That's a dinner bell right there. Do you know what I'm saying? If you want to say this is what the bet is. Montgomery and Gibbs have to combine for together plus 150 plus yards. Okay. So that bet is at plus 150. You can make some money this week on that one. I think DraftKings throw you a cookie every week. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is one. So combined, remember Gibbs last week had the big run. Now he's
128.
yeah, yo,
That
and
was his
he
breakout game on 17 carries.
yeah. And he, you know what? And I think he's the one guy that's a unicorn out there. Like, because Jaden Reed is explosive and he could take it to the house. Christian Watson. Gibbs is the one guy I think that he is nobody like him on the field. You know what I'm
Oh no,
saying?
you're right. He's probably the best skill position player on the field. Even
Yeah,
though St. Brown is a Pro Bowler and great, but if you're talking about overall talent,
yeah,
like a unicorn, especially with J-Mo not being out there, yeah, I think
yeah.
it's definitely Jameer.
And they better have them extra long spikes on because you trying to talk. You see what he did to that boy last week, dude, on Tennessee, trying to,
We've been waiting for it, man. That
got
boy
that.
hit the sideline and you saw the 4.3 speed.
Yeah, and I think he's the one guy, Walt, that he could turn this game upside down, man, on
Oh
one
yeah.
play. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that's in the Lions' favor right there. I think if we had to just put a bow on this show before we get out of here, the Packers D line. I think that if the Packers win, they're going to show why they have the better D line and they can get to the quarterback and make some play. You know what I'm saying? And close the game out. The Lions I worry about, we're not going to be able to close this game out. You know what I'm saying? And get the sack when we need it at the end of this game. So I hope they prove me wrong. Like I said, I want to see a different element of this team, something we haven't seen. What I'm saying is I want to see a man coverage interception. I want to see, like you said, Jack Campbell getting 12 tackles, you know what I'm saying, which I think he's highly capable. I love Jack Campbell, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that he the one guy I watch during the game, and he's always in the right spot, always. You know what I'm saying? If he gets picked out of the play, you know what I'm saying? Like if the play's not his way, then they probably send a guy to kind of shade him a little bit. But
Yeah.
Brian Branch, you know what I'm saying, man. It's just they got so we're so talented, man. On both sides of the ball. I think that's why the Lions are where they're at.
We
Kirby,
got difference makers.
I feel totally comfortable with Kirby Joseph back there. I feel even last year when we played, I think our safety combo, I think it was Branch, wasn't Melifonwu last year, and then we had like
Yeah,
Sutton,
because
Jerry
Branch was playing
Jacobs.
the slot, more of the
Yeah,
slot last year.
remember Jerry Jacobs and Sutton, dude, and now you fast forward to Carlton Davis and Tyrion Arnold with
Rake
Kirby
Straw and
Joseph.
Amik
Yeah,
Robertson.
oh man, dude, come on now, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's right there why you could say advantage Lions. But like I say, I'm gonna ride with it this week. I'm gonna say our defensive line is gonna not be able to get to Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? If Jordan Love play. Now I'm gonna put this out there too. If Malik Willis plays, I think that changes my stance on it because I don't see him beating the Lions. I don't. I think Jordan Love, 80% Jordan Love could beat the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Because of his arm talent and his ability to be able to drive the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? Something that Malik Willis brings a different element to the game, but I
Yeah.
don't. I'm not feared with him like more than I am with Jordan Love. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. I think both quarterbacks provide their own set of difficulties to deal with.
Yeah,
Because with Malik, you got to deal with Malik breaking contain and running. Like Malik he'll get you 40. He can
yeah,
get out there and get 40 yards on the ground real quick. With Jordan, the entire passing game now comes into play. If
yeah,
we're going up against Malik, we already know they're gonna give Malik a certain set number of plays that he's gonna run in the passing game. We already know what those passing plays are gonna be. There's gonna be more RPO. There's gonna be more design runs. To me, that's a little bit more difficult. With Jordan Love, well, hold on, not that being more difficult. That can be more difficult in its own way, its own concept. With Jordan Love, the entire field is open.
mm-hmm.
Now, to counter that, Jordan will take chances downfield. He's like Brett. Like Jordan will push the ball downfield and challenge us.
Yeah,
Jordan will give Kirby opportunities to get passes.
yeah,
That's the whole thing. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if Jordan plays, if Jordan doesn't take care of the football, we win. Because right now, with the offense this hot, you cannot keep giving our offense short fields.
yeah,
That's what buried Tennessee last week. Tennessee dominated time of possession, rushing
yeah,
yards. Overall, they turned the ball over 4 times. They kept giving us short fields.
yeah.
You can't do that with us right now. Especially if we start struggling offensively slow.
That's
The worst
enough.
thing you want to do, Minnesota did it.
Yeah,
Minnesota tried. We went through a little lull against Minnesota.
yeah,
But what happened? Darnold and that offense couldn't sustain drives down the stretch. They kept giving Jared opportunities. Jared
yeah,
eventually led the drive. We got the win.
yeah. Of course. Yep. And that's the only thing that I'm gonna say, Walt, before we get out of here, is the only reason why I think the Lions can't stay hot as they can be have been. Can they? Can they just
No,
keep scoring
they're
40?
going to
Because it's
eventually lose. We know that. I told you earlier in the show, I think that
oh
when
my
they do lose, it's going to be an ugly loss. I don't think it's going to be a pretty loss, a respectable loss.
yeah, I mean, man, because they doing stuff that we haven't seen, man. You know what I'm saying? And man, to me, this is how I feel about it. Like if we go out there and we just dominate the pack, I mean, just dominate, just beat them boys down. Look out, man. I mean, I don't. We may not have to make a trade. I mean, I know that I think Corey brought that up earlier.
Yeah. I do
Like,
think they make a deal, though, because I know
I think
Corey
they
asked
make.
that earlier in the show.
Yeah, sorry, Corey, for not hitting on it. But I believe they should too. You know how I stand on it. Hey, do what you got to do. Get somebody in here. Worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, let's just say we go out there and Lions win this game 31-10. I'm just putting it out there. And we get sacks from James Houston, couple interior pressures from DJ Reader. You get a sack from McNeil. What I'm saying is, like, let's just say we get some sacks from some unknown guys, get a coverage sack, get a safety blitz or something like that, right? So I think you already answered my question. I'm going to ask you. I'm saying, like, let's just say we don't get if we don't have any issues getting to the quarterback. I mean, are you still like we shouldn't do make a move? You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
still think we have to because
Yeah.
just strictly based off a numbers game, we lost Barnes, we lost Aiden Hutchinson, we lost Marcus Davenport, Rodrigo's out,
Yeah. Petco.
Broderick, Pecco. Broderick might not be back for another week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all depending on who you hear it from. Just from a numbers standpoint alone, Kaminsky. Now we should have Kaminsky back, I think, in a few weeks, but just from a numbers perspective, Wingo being nicked up,
Mm-hmm.
we have to get at least two more people in here, whether it's another linebacker and a defensive end. Personally, I would like to see a more traditional defensive end like Davenport. a guy
Mm-hmm.
that can help in the run game, because that's something people haven't really commented on, I think, enough since Aiden went out. It's the fact that since Aiden went out, forget the pass rush numbers going down.
Mm-hmm.
We've been getting gashed in the run game on
In
the
the run
perimeter.
game. Yeah.
They've
Yup.
been teams been killing us on the perimeter in
Yeah.
the run game since Aiden and Davenport went out. So that's something also that needs to be taken into account, because as much as you want to be able to get home pass rush wise, you don't want teams to realize, oh, there's a serious chink in the Lions' armor. They can't stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Yeah.
start gashing them boys, because teams will start doing it. Teams saw what Tennessee did to us last week.
Yeah. Yup.
They saw what
Josh.
Minnesota did to us a week prior to that.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs, damn good running back too. We,
Very
we haven't even
capable.
mentioned him. Yeah, very capable. We haven't mentioned him at all. But you're right. And then we have brought in, the Lions brought in Isaiah Thomas. He had a fumble recovery last week. Pat O'Connor did some good things last week. And then excuse me if I'm gonna mess the name of Al Quahir Muhammad, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's on the roster too as well. So that's not enough, man. I mean, if I had to end the show, that's not enough. I totally believe, I think our next show we will be talking about the Lions adding somebody, because the trade deadline I think is on Tuesday,
Yes,
election day.
sir.
So you got to figure that after tomorrow's games, it's going to be a mad rush to get who you need to get for the trade deadline. I think the Lions will do something.
Yeah.
If I had to go out and predict, I think something's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the big names that we think. I mean, I've been hearing all week this Ojulari kid from I think he went to LSU. I think
Yeah,
he's
with the
with the Giants.
Giants.
Yep, I liked him coming out of college. I thought he was like a second or third round pick coming out in the draft with some Lamar, and then
Not enough.
and then uh, Zadarius Smith, which I don't know, man. I'm not big on the Zadarius Smith like a lot of other people. I think he's a little bit
I'm
longer.
not either. The
Yeah.
age and then the back injury.
Yeah, he has 7 sacks, I think, this year. But I hope the Bengals lose, and I hope Trey Hendrickson really gets salty with the organization, because remember he wanted a contract at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
If they lose, maybe that whole thing blows up and you get Trey Hendrickson, which I would welcome that. But like I said, it's other guys, Walt, that's not even being mentioned, man. I'm telling you, every year we see it, but guys become available, man. You know what I'm saying, real quick in the NFL. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did this show, today. I was really excited about doing it when you said let's do it today for this time slot. And because I just think right now we this is real football, man. You know what I'm saying? You like you said, if you want to be able to gauge how good your team is, I think you have to go out here and perform. Even if you in a losing effort, you perform. You don't play Lions Packers at 425 slot on Fox and lay an egg, man. That's not possible. You can't have that. You know what I'm saying? And I think this team, for the most part, they've upped the challenge. Every game they've played, a big game. They remember the Cowboys game last year, the Saturday night game at Dallas. They've played at Kansas City. They've played at the Packers before. They played them Thursday night. They played them Sunday night football. The Lions have had a good track record, and we've seen enough of these games to know Dan Campbell gonna have these guys ready to play, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited with the cornerback matchup. I want to see Terran Arnold. I think this is a game where he does something to me, man. I just feel like I've seen this story before with other players that we kind of didn't think that maybe he's
No,
ready
I
for the
get it.
big spotlight.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And he's what, six? This is eighth game is playing.
Yeah.
So
I
the
feel the
light,
same way about Jack. I think this is gonna be a big game for Jack.
yeah,
One of the young guys, because there's too many bodies out for one of y'all to not have the opportunity to make big plays. I think Jack, this may be a coming out game for Jack. Like last week was Jameer,
yeah,
and we've been begging for over a year and a half for Jameer to have that
yeah,
Alabama moment, and he
yeah,
had
yeah.
that
He
Alabama
had it
moment last week.
balling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my guy, man. Yeah, yep. So and it ironic, and you mentioned Jack Campbell. Remember that draft? Jameer Gibbs at 12, Jack Campbell at 18. And people were saying, like, why would you trade for Jameer Gibbs? And why the hell would you draft Jack Campbell, number 18 overall? he's showing why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
and Laporta
and
and
Laporte.
Branch. Like
Yeah,
that was a generational draft right there.
yeah. It's all justified now. All justified. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So
Absolutely. Jalen Carter can stay where he at.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Walt, man, thanks, man, for this. This show, man. I think we working wonders on the show. I like when you hear people tell me, I've had people tell me, man, they like the show. You know what I'm saying? And they like,
Absolutely.
the content and and it's cool, man. Work with somebody like you, no agendas. We just straight up tell it like it is, man. Period. You know what I'm saying? We have you tell me, you bounce creative ideas. I like the bet segment now. I think that's something where we kind of tapped into that this year. So, man, props to you. You the engineer, the conductor, the railroad.
I
So
try a little bit. I like to have my face up there, but
yeah.
my prehistoric laptop ain't having it. Wife said she gonna take care of me though. She went and told me she's buying me a MacBook for Christmas.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can we'll be a whole lot better moving forward, man. Because I done had this laptop for 6.5 years.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
so everything's outdated on it.
that's your money maker, man. Hey, I gotta step my hat game up because we see our boy Eden commented, yeah, them hats been sick. That Walt been wearing, just kind of changing the game with the hats. So appreciate that as well. You look good on camera, man. So yeah, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
yeah.
man.
Let's come back, man, and then win or lose, maybe we get Lamar, we get Fidel, some of our guys, what I mean, to come on with us, and you know, and we talk football. So.
All right, want to thank everybody for joining us once again this Saturday morning. Taking the time out. I understand everybody during this time of year has a lot of things going on, but y'all took the time out to join us to break down another Lions win, potentially, hopefully. Till next time, one pride.